We are live. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to us. Um, Thank you for waiting patiently with us while we figure out my technology issues. As I've shared with you before, I do have technology issues. I am technologically challenged at times, which is an embarrassing admission to make being a millennial. I am so excited about our guest today. We have Mishelle Ekunsirinde. Did I say it right?
You did
Yay!
it.
Yes. With us. She is the epitome of cool mom, and she has founded a wonderful company called Stina&Mae. I'm going to stop talking about it. We're going to get into it because, chats during naps will our children, specifically my child, let us finish the interview, right? So, Mishelle, thank you so much for hopping on. Um,
Thank you.
I love your shop, which was recently featured in Vogue.
Yeah.
Okay, but let me stop. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and your company?
Yes, I would love to tell you a bit about who I am and my company. And so, like you said, my name is Mishelle Ekunsirinde, and I take that compliment. I'm going to now put that on my title. Instead of founder, I'm going to be like the epitome of cool mom.
Yes.
And then I'm going to quote, I might quote you on that in my bio. I don't know. Um, But prior to starting Stina&Mae, I was a fashion journalist. And so I spent my life in the realm of the fashion world, which was really fun and amazing. Got to meet great people and do some really amazing things. Um, and then, shortly after having my son, I realized, or shortly after becoming a mom, and I realized that I was missing a little bit of my old life, a little bit of that like fashion flair and getting dressed up and wearing heels and just looking like, really just feeling great, looking great and feeling great. And I wanted to bring a bit of that life into my new role as a mom. And so that's how Stina&Mae came about. Stina is short for my grandmother's name, and it's a nickname that they call her. And May is my great grandmother's middle name. And I always thought, two amazing women, two amazing moms that kind of, inspired the brand. My grandmother is one of those, like as a kid, she was always like this most classic of dressed, like almost super ladylike. I can
Mhm.
explain it, super ladylike. And it was just really amazing to, watch her and always young ladies don't do this and young ladies don't do that. And I think a bit of that prissiness, I guess was what it would be called now, uh, kind of instilled in me. And then you couple that with the fashion realm and everything, and I think that's kind of where my design eye comes from.
Yeah, you know what you highlighted I think a commonality of our grandparents' generation. My grandma, she was born in 1920.
Hmm.
She's no longer with us, but she never left the house without her heels, her pearls, and her lipstick,
Yeah,
even if it was to the grocery store.
exactly.
Right.
I made the mistake of doing a video chat with my grandmother, and I had just did like I was doing a twist out, so I was twisting my hair, and it looked a little funny. And she's like, "You better get dressed before your husband comes home." And I'm like, "But why, Nana?" Because he's coming home, so your hair needs to be done. I was like, "He's okay." But it does, it highlights that generation. And, my great grandmother, up until the day that she passed away, would have shoes dyed to match her outfits.
I love your grandma.
She
I love
she she
her.
used to that. She had um shoes to dye the exact shade of green of the suit she was wearing or the outfit she was wearing, and then her hat was dyed the exact every like she had everything dyed to match. And I mean, I didn't realize the extent of all of her closet and until she passed away and we had to go through everything. But my great grandmother was just like so fashionable. And it was just, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I loved learning about that side of her. I kind of wish I could have learned a little bit more about that side of
Mhm.
her, you know, if when she was alive.
Yeah, I think it's generational. It's been passed down. And it shows in your company's, beautiful aesthetic. For folks that are just tuning in, Stina&Mae has a gorgeous website. How did how did your previous employment in the fashion industry, play a role in your company?
Well, I mean, when you just see so many beautiful things, and I was very, very fortunate that I
Mhm.
was able to that I was able I won the Whose Child Would Interrupt First game. No, go back downstairs, please. Uh-uh. I didn't ask a question. I made a statement. Thank you so much. I love you. Yes, thank you. It was a statement, which means there's more action and not words. Goodbye. Hello.
I'm going to use that. This was a statement.
Yes, I asked all the time, is this a question or a statement? If it's a question, then I expect a response. If it's a statement, I expect action.
I
And
like it.
so, yes. But what I was saying is that I got to meet so many amazing people and designers and just kind of talk to them and look at so many amazing pieces of work and listen to their inspirations and things. And I think just kind of being able to get that backstage look at like how people are inspired and just constantly looking at beautiful things. I wanted to, kind of not only create beautiful things, but I feel like we feel better when the environment around us has beautiful
Mhm.
things. And one of the reasons outside, I think one of the things that Stina&Mae has done for me as a mom is that when I had my son, I went through postpartum, and I think
Mhm.
that bringing in some of that old part of myself really helped through this harder part of adjustment of becoming a new mom.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember being young, single, in my 20s and looking at women that had recently had children and they are in, sweatpants or yoga pants, a little bit messy. And I thought, why would you let yourself go?
Isn't it funny when
It
you
is
think
so
about it?
easy.
Isn't it funny? I mean, yes, it is hilarious. I come from an industry where, during the height of Fashion Week, where one would uh change their clothes multiple times a day, and that was normal,
Mhm.
to literally throwing on the same pair of sweatpants 2 days in a row.
Right.
It was quite the adjustment. Um, and I've moved. I feel like I'm in the middle ground now, where I no longer wear the same sweatpants several days in a row, but I'm also not changing my clothes 4 to 5 times a day,
Right.
unless there was the occasional child accident that happens, in which
Right.
case I do tend to change my clothes. But yeah, I think just wanting to create beautiful things and bring a little bit of that aspect of my old life, uh, so that I felt like I still had my own sense of self, is
Mhm.
really how fashion has inspired the brand. I want it to be fashionable. I want it to be young. I want it to be something that I feel like momming and motherhood and like the mom gene, it was always something that wasn't fashionable. It was always
Right.
something that was like you said, sweatpants and messy buns. And
Mhm.
people always were like, that's not fashionable. But hey, that could be. Um, but just really kind of making it so that things that are related to motherhood and the products that we make aren't
Mm-hmm.
drabby. We want
Right.
them to be fun, bright, youthful, exciting
Right.
to look at, and not super baby. We like to say
Right.
chic baby.
Chic baby. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
One of our
Um,
customers came up with that. They were like, "You're like chic baby." I was like, "Oh, okay, I like that."
children's clothing and accessories is such an ultra competitive market. And
Hmm.
for entrepreneurs out there who are navigating, their own equally competitive market, what kind of recommendations could you give to help them stand apart?
I would say know your customer.
Hmm.
Know your customer. And I know that sounds very simple, but I mean, know your customer. Know what, in my case, we know what she wants. We know what she is looking for. We
Hmm.
know how she speaks. And we speak and form when we talk about our customer in terms of she, because our primary customer is moms. But we know what she's looking for.
Hmm.
And knowing that and doing that research and really listening to what whoever that customer is, she or he, if your brand or whomever that customer is, knowing what they're looking for, knowing what their problems are, and
Hmm.
knowing how to position your product to solve them.
Right, right. That is such an important point is do your research. And there's so many times, right? Entrepreneurs, we get this great idea. We're like, yes, and I'm going to execute. And they execute without doing the research. And then
Mm-hmm.
they launch and there's crickets. They didn't do the research, right? How much can I ask so folks can get an understanding? How much do you remember how much time you devoted to research prior to launching?
2 years.
2 years.
I
That is
listened for 2 years to was part of I was the fly on the wall for many conversations. Um, and I listened specifically for our first product that we made. I listened. I also knew because I was my first customer. I was my customer in the sense
mhm,
of I had a young child. I'm a millennial mom. I think we're called millennials. I'm not sure. Like I'm on the older end of millennials, so they calling
right,
us zennials. I have no clue. Generation X mixed with millennial. I don't know. Anyhow,
right.
um, last time I checked on the scale, I was considered a millennial. And so, knowing what I was looking for when I was shopping for my son and having that fashion background and wanting to dress him in the cute little fashionable outfits. And he constantly wore fedoras and sandals, and his little bibs matched everything. And just I knew what I was looking for, but that wasn't enough. Yes, I was that customer, but I wanted to reach out and listen more. And so
Mhm.
our brand is about 5 years old. But the first beginning of that 5 years really was just me listening. I was also home with a baby at the newborn at the time, and I knew that I made the conscious commitment that if I made the choice to be home and a stay-at-home mom for a duration of um, his childhood, that and starting this business, I knew it was going to grow slower. And so, what were the things that I could do to make it so that when I was really ready to put the pedal to the metal, I could go full steam ahead and really
Right.
set myself up for the time that I'm currently in now? Um, and that was listening, learning, and then executing on everything that I heard, every complaint, every uh, recommendation. Oh, well, why did you recommend that product? Oh,
Mhm.
and really diving deep on what that customer wanted. And then once I did that, I had a good idea of what she was looking for. And then I tested it in the market. And so would do a lot of in-person things and get a lot of feedback from people that way.
Mhm.
And then from that, and it's just kind of ever evolving. So constantly listening to your customer and knowing what he or she wants, and executing on that, being able to solve the problem that
Mhm.
they have. And so I would say we're always listening and we're always researching, but that bulk of that research took about 18 months.
No, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Because I don't think people realize how extensive the research period can and should be. And so I know there's probably some folks, out there going, oh, gasp, 18 months. What about just 2 weeks?
I say if you feel comfortable after 2 weeks, you go
Hmm.
right ahead. I think it's what works for you. For me, it
Right,
worked because I was
right.
a full-time stay-at-home mom. And so for
Hmm.
me, that was the cadence that I was okay with because I was still
Right.
able to be very present. My husband was at work, and so
Hmm.
I was a primary caretaker all day. Um,
Hmm.
and so that was a cadence that worked for me and allowed me to, um, one, interact on a human level. So I interacted with everyone on a human level, never on a
Hmm.
business level. I interacted mom to mom. Oh, yes, I understand. My child stayed up all night teething too. Or, we would have those conversations, and being in those mom groups, I was very beneficial to learning more. And so one of the other things I would say was also interact on a human level, but whatever
Hmm.
cadence works for you, um, I say go for it. If 2 weeks is all that you feel that you need of listening, and you want to create a product around all of the things that you heard, I would say create that product, test it, reevaluate it, and look at those results. And then from those
Hmm.
results, do you need to keep reiterating, or do you think you have it fine right now, or is it positioned correctly? I mean, really looking, I would say the problem in the customer. If you feel like a week or 2 days is all the time that you need to be able to create that product and you can do what you have the information you need, I say go for it. It's whatever cadence works for you.
Right, right. Thank you. Um, you know, you mentioned that you spent 2 years, really honing in on your audience and listening. If you could talk to, Mishelle circa when she first started out, what would you tell her?
You know what you're doing. Stop questioning yourself.
Do you
Yeah,
feel
I
like
think,
you, do you feel like
sorry.
you, oh, no, no, no. I was going to ask when you said stop questioning yourself, do you feel like you had a little bit of imposter syndrome?
That's exactly what
Okay.
I was going to say. Yes, I did. And this is not my first company. So it was very interesting. Um, but yes, I think I would say I know what I know. And it was, I know what I'm talking about, and that recognizing what your skill sets are, and it's okay to brag about them. Like,
Hmm.
it's okay to be proud about what you know
Hmm.
and uh, execute on it. Just execute on it. I think
Right.
there are things that I knew that I'm executing on now that are working
Hmm.
tremendously.
Hmm.
Um, but I needed to believe in myself enough to execute on them. And so I would say to myself then, trust yourself. You know what you're talking about and you're good
Yeah.
at this. So do it.
Right. It's interesting that the more successful women are, and it's not a generalization, most women, not all women, but most women are, the stronger the imposter syndrome takes hold.
Isn't it interesting? Isn't it
Hmm.
interesting?
Yeah.
It is yeah, and I didn't suffer from this before. This was not
Hmm.
something that I was familiar with in my wheelhouse. And so this
Right.
constant questioning and needing to learn and seeking knowledge from other people was interesting because and I'm realizing this now too, in a lot of expert conversations that you have with people who are
Yeah.
experts, I feel like a lot of the times I'm leaving the conversation, and I still have to tell myself these same things now. But I feel like a lot of the times I leave the conversation being like, I'm pretty sure I taught them something, but
Yeah.
they were the ones that were supposed to be teaching me something. And
Right.
so I leave those conversations kind of scratching my head a bit, being like, this was a moment for me to learn something. And I guess I did. And what I learned is to
Mhm.
stop questioning myself because I know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Exactly. Exactly. All right.
And I apologize,
So
my little one is in the background.
that's okay. That's okay. How old is your son now?
He is 5. 5. He just turned 5 in October. So
Awesome.
he is a bundle of energy. Um, I feel like if they could figure out a way to harness the energy of 2 to 5 year olds, I don't have a girl, so I don't know if it's different, but I know 2 to 5 year old boys. And I mean, I could be a millionaire if I could figure out how to harness that energy. Please, I tell him all the time, teach me your ways. Where do you get your energy from? And he says, I get my energy from God.
Right. Switching gears a little bit, we always talk about having a support system or a tribe, to use um, the popular term. What do when you first started out and even now, who do you consider a part of your tribe? And, how have they helped you?
I am super lucky.
Mhm.
I- I'm super blessed. I'm abundantly blessed with
Mhm.
having amazing people around me. I have a super supportive husband,
Mhm.
in terms of just business and, the demands of being a business owner,
Mhm.
and running and growing a company. So I want to say first and foremost that the leader of that tribe would be my husband.
Mhm.
Um, and then outside of that, I have amazing friends. And I also was very fortunate when my son was about 6 months old, 6 to 8 months. I can't remember really. It's all kind of a blur. Month old, I was able to get into this amazing accelerator program, and it was by from Babson College, and it was
Mhm.
their Women Innovate Now, which is called the Win Lab, and I believe there were 18 other women. I can't like there were I think 10 or so other companies,
Wow.
and they're all female led, and I gained a tribe just in that, and being
Mhm.
in a cohort of women who all have businesses. We're all doing the same thing. It was basically for high growth companies
Mhm.
looking to for high growth, and going through that, it was a 9 month process. We met weekly for
Mhm.
9 months to really
Wow.
go over things. It was amazing. We had really great
Wow.
advisors that would
Mhm.
help us. And so, in that, I built an amazing network of women who I have a friend who has a company called Garage Dolls, which is an amazing company for little brown girls, little black and brown girls. I have another friend who has a jewelry company, and like another one. Like I can literally, if I have an issue, we got a major retailer this year that will
Mhm.
be coming out in 2021. And I could literally pick up the phone and call a friend and say, "Hey, we're talking to XYZ, and I know you work with them. Can you tell me a bit about how they work?" And
Mm.
have a 45-minute conversation with this person about how their experience with this company and what it looks like and what their processes are and what their payment terms are and all of those things, and really kind of get an inside look. And I think that my Win Sister tribe
Mhm.
is amazing, and that's what we call ourselves from the Babson Win Lab. We call each other Win Sisters, and that tribe is amazing because it's I would say surround yourself with people and find groups of women or men or
Mhm.
whomever, or surround yourself with people who are either in the same place as you and wanting to go where you're wanting to go as well, or people who are ahead of you,
That's right.
people who are ahead of where you are and where you want to go, and learning from them. And so my tribe came from there. My tribe was also, I have amazing supportive family. We had a location, and my mother babysat. My sister brought my car for an oil change while I was at the retail location because I needed. And so
Wow.
just having really great family was, and surrounding yourself with a really group of people. Join groups. The group that we're in together, I
Mhm.
think that group is amazing. Facebook groups and things like that. I think finding your tribe is just go and look
Right.
because it's as I just kind of illustrated, very, very important.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that you have a major retailer on for 2021. It sounds like you are one of the few businesses that have been successful during COVID.
Yes, and, and there, there's mixed emotions about that because I
Hmm.
think
Yeah.
this year has brought upon so much pain and suffering for so many people
Yeah.
that I feel somewhat bad about saying yes, this has been a banner year for us. It's been a really great year. Um, but I think at the end of every storm is a rainbow.
Hmm.
And so this year has been incredibly horrible for many people, and stressful and crazy and demanding.
Yeah.
But and trust me, I'm like, my scale is kind of there, but um, it's been great. It's
Hmm.
been great for us this year. We moved online. We've always been online, but we did a shift to online versus in store with our retail partners. Um,
Hmm.
we in the beginning of the pandemic, really just spoke, again, knowing your customer. We just spoke to our customer about topics that had nothing to do with our product. Like, my
Hmm.
child won't sleep, or my child is having accidents and regressing, and really speaking to experts about how to deal with these transitions that our children were going through
Hmm.
during this time, because it was tough on them, not only on us. And how to find moments of peace and create moments of peace during all of the chaos, and during a lot of the protests and things
Hmm.
like that, about how to talk to your children about racism at any age. And really, and that was a two-parter, where we talked with Nikia Smith, and she's an amazing school psychologist, um, and we were able to speak with her and have people ask questions, and we did lives, and it was very interactive. And so um, in the beginning, we weren't trying really to sell anything. We just
Hmm.
wanted to give our moms the information that she needed to help her day get better.
Hmm.
And so we did that for several weeks. About 2 or 3 months, we would do a live, and even on how to, like, create a memorable moment for your child's birthday, even though you can't
Hmm.
celebrate together. And we did interviews
Right.
with moms on, how they're going to celebrate for their baby showers, first time moms, and things like that. And so it allowed us to really connect with our customer, um,
Hmm.
and in a deeper connection. And that was really, really, really amazing to be able to really connect with moms on a personal human level. That was really
Right.
great.
It says a lot that businesses that were able to weather, that are still continuing to weather the COVID storm, first provided value to their client customers. Um, that hey, we're all in this together. And when I say value, I mean information, activities, services free of charge that will better their life. Now I'm not promoting that everyone just give everything for free, right? Because you're a for-profit business, but by providing that extra oomph, right, so to speak, it was able to help you and your clients, your customers, be better parents. We are at the top of the hour, um, or half hour rather. So, would you like to leave our audience of entrepreneurs and business owners? What would you like to leave them today? What advice
I
would you give them?
hmm. And I also want to say one other thing though about we did actually give away blankets because we did a fort challenge. And so we were transitioning some of our inventory. And so we had these
Mhm.
blankets and we actually gave some away for parents to help create like forts and as an activity in their house with their little ones. And it was really, really great. We asked people to tag us
So
in them and
cool.
let us know how you're fort. And if you don't want to show your child, you can email them to us. And it was really cool. That was really great. I just had to put that in there because I just love the creativity that people kind of came up with with
Yeah.
the blankets and how they made their forts. And we linked to another brand that was showing you how to make certain forts and things like that. And so it was really fun. Um, but in terms of what I would say to anyone out there who's looking to start a brand, even in a highly competitive field, is to really know your customer and just
Mhm.
start. Nothing is going to be perfect. My new motto for 2020 was one, it's all about grace. Ask for grace,
Mhm.
give grace, and everything will just flow. I mean, we asked for
Right.
grace many times from our customers. We had supply
Right.
chain issues, like, the world shut down, and our raw
Yes.
materials, everything's made in the States, but our raw materials are sourced globally, and so grace. But the other thing I said, the second thing I adopted this year was done is better than perfect. So
Yes.
just start, do it, and reiterate and fix it a little bit at a time and as you go, and it'll work out fine. Just start. Nothing is
Mhm.
ever going to be perfect, but start because you could be depriving someone out there of an amazing product. And that's, I think, how people have to look at it. You could be depriving someone who's having a problem with an amazing you're depriving them because you're not launching your amazing product that could help that problem.
Mhm.
And so just start and do it, and you can do it, and you might fail, and that's okay. You can learn from
Right.
your failure. I've
Right.
failed many times and I will probably fail many times to go, but with every failure I've learned something. With every hiccup, I've changed the process so that the process next time will be better. And
Mhm.
it's okay. I know that was long-winded response,
No,
but
it's perfect. Michelle, thank you so much for joining us on Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to everyone out there. And then I also heard a really funny, corny joke, and happy Festivus for the rest of us.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm going to use that now. I'll be sure to give you attribution. Um, but no, I'm exact. I love that. Yeah, I think that's why my little one is hopping around now. He's waiting to kind of get into some festivities or something, or just drive me nuts altogether because he's 5 year old too. But thank you so much. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. And we have an amazing new year. And thank you so much for having me. I feel like I could talk to you forever.
I know, right? All right. Take care. And thank you all for tuning in. See you on New Year's Eve, next nap
Okay.
time. Take care. Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
You too.